Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Today we have another lesson, Mega Goal 6. But before we start, let's take a quick recap for the previous lesson. In the previous lesson on page 72, we started by commenting on the title of this unit, Express Yourself. We've talked before about the titles of each unit, and we said that in each skill that we learn in each unit, this skill revolves around the theme or the title of this unit. For example, in this unit, we have Express Yourself. We are learning how to express our own ideas and thoughts. So, in every lesson, we are learning some techniques and some ways that help us to achieve that goal. Yesterday, on page 72, we had a conversation lesson. And in this conversation lesson, we focused on many parts. We started talking, or we started listening about, or to the conversation between Jason and Badr. We also talked about the meaning of the word conversation, which is a discussion or a talk between two people and more about anything. Then we've talked about the real talk, which has the words written in blue. Then we, after that, went to the last part, which is expressing or asking someone to repeat or to say something again. We've listened to the conversation together. We talked about some of the expressions and the words, and some of them were written in blue. These expressions or phrases or words written in blue might be new for some of you. So we talked about the meaning and the explanation for each one of them. We started with the first one, which is jam-packed or packed. They both do the same meaning. What is the meaning of jam-packed? We say it means a very crowded place. When we say the restaurant is jam-packed or the restaurant is packed, that means it has a lot of people. After that, elbows one way, or elbow his way, or she elbows her way. That means they are struggling to walk in that place. They had to use physical force to find their ways through that place. After that, we have the word munchies. We said that the word munchies refers to the snacks or small or quick meals. Deal with something, put up with, or handle a situation. The last word, bite, also means snack. Then we ended our lesson by talking about how to ask someone to repeat something if you haven't understood that or if you didn't listen to that particular idea. For example, or some of the expressions that you can use is, can you or could you repeat that, please? Could you or would you say that again? Excuse me, but I didn't catch the last part. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Pardon me. What did you say? What was that? Would you mind repeating that? All these are ways of asking someone to repeat what they have said. Today on page 73, we have a listening lesson. In this lesson, we will listen to conversation and discussion between some of the friends. We have here 4 friends, and they are discussing the problems they have faced or the struggle they've been through while they were learning other languages. But before we start listening to these conversations, let's talk a little bit about how to enhance, improve our listening skills. Anyone would ask himself once he starts or she starts learning a new language, how can I develop my listening skills? Firstly, you have to expose yourself to the language as much as possible. Listen to any material in that language. If you are, for example, learning English, listen to any English material in any place. For example, you can check the websites, radio, listen to anything in English that will help you enhance your understanding and will raise your awareness toward the language. Another point is learn how to answer the questions or how to answer the listening exercises and the listening tests or exams. For example, today we have a listening exercise. You are asked to fill this chart. In this chart, we have 3 columns. We have names, we have what she said or wrote, and after that, what she meant to say or write. So you are asked to do something. Once you have a listening exercise or listening exam, you should firstly start reading the task. You should know what you have to do. Now, what should you do? Listen to the students discuss making mistakes in English. So you have to listen to them and learn the mistakes they made in English. Then complete the chart. So what are you going to focus on today is the mistakes that they have made. We are focusing today on the mistake those students made while they were learning English. Okay, this is the first point. After that, read the chart or read the conversation if you are asked to fill some of the gaps in conversation like we did in the previous lesson. Now we have number 1, Badriya, about her plans for the weekend. Number 2, Paula, about her mother's visit. Number 3, Tina, about getting caught in the rain. Number 4, Amira, about a recipe. Now we have an understanding and we know what should we do. The first thing is that we should focus on the mistakes they have made while they were learning English. The second thing, we have focused on each mistake each one of them has made. For example, Badriya made a mistake while she was planning for the weekend. She was talking about planning for the weekend and she made a mistake. So now we have specific information. Now we narrowed down what we are looking for. Now we have a specific thing that we are looking for, so we can listen carefully to that part and get the answer. Another thing is that try to use your pencil. Once you start listening to the recording or to the listening material, take notes. Anything you feel that it's important, take notes or comment on anything that you feel that it's going to help you. Another thing is that don't hesitate, don't panic. If you missed any of the words, don't panic if you haven't understood one of the words. Why? Because it is not important to understand every word in the conversation or in the recording, because what you have to do is to get the main idea of the recording. You have to get the main idea of the lecture or the main idea of the conversation. So this is the main thing that you have to focus on. It's fine to miss some of the words, but it's not okay to miss the main idea. And also, always pay attention to the words or to the situation or to the specific information that you're looking for. Don't miss that piece of information. Now we will go ahead, listen to the conversation between the 4 friends, and we will try to put in practice what we have just learned. Okay, now we have this chart and we have 4 girls, Badriya, Paula, Tina, and Amira. Firstly, we will listen to the whole conversation. Try, firstly, to understand everything. Try to get as much as you can try to do as much as you can of the blanks in the chart. But after that, we will listen to each part. We will listen to each girl alone. So we will listen to Badriya, then we will go to Paula, Tina, and we will end with Amira. Now we will listen to the whole conversation, then we will take it in parts.
Page 73. 5. Listening. Listen to the students discuss making mistakes in English. Then complete the chart.
Tina.
You know, one of the things that I find most difficult about acquiring a new language? I feel like sometimes I use the wrong word. Then I end up expressing something different than what I mean to say.
Badria.
I know what you mean. Just last week, my English teacher asked me what I was going to do on the weekend. I said, I'm preparing dinner for several goats tonight. My teacher's eyes widened, and I could tell she was trying to hold back a laugh. Then I realized that I had said goats instead of guests.
Paula.
Oh, we've all had that kind of thing happen. Last year I was studying abroad. During the summer, my mother came out to visit for a few weeks. I was telling a classmate about meeting my mother at the airport, and I said, "My mother gave me a big egg." My classmate looked surprised, and she said, "Is that a traditional gift in your country?" That's when I realized that I had said egg instead of hug.
Tina.
Sometimes it's not a matter of using the wrong word. Sometimes the word can be right, but the way it's used can be wrong. One time I told a friend, "While I was walking to your house, a big shower suddenly fell on me." My friend said, "Ouch, that must have hurt." I thought about it for a moment and realized my mistake. Of course, I had meant to say, "I got caught in a sudden shower."
Amira.
Sometimes, even a simple thing like spelling something wrong can lead to a disaster. One time, a friend tried a piece of cake I had baked. She loved it, and even though she had never baked anything before, she asked me for the recipe. The following week, she told me she had baked the cake and it was terrible. I looked at the recipe I'd given her and realized that I had written, "Add 2 cups of flour." But instead of spelling flour F-L-O-U-R, I had spelled it F-L-O-W-E-R. And she had actually added flowers.
Okay, now we have listened to the whole conversation and we have known each mistake that each one of them is made. Now, let's go to the first participant or to the first girl, Badriya. We will listen to her mistake and I want you to put what she said or what she wrote. I want you to write down here the mistake that she's done. And after that, try to get what she meant to say. She made a mistake. Why? Because she meant to say something, but she said something else. So here, write the mistake. In this part, write the mistake. And in this part, write what she meant to say. All right. Now let's listen to Badriya.
You know, one of the things that I find most difficult about acquiring a new language? I feel like sometimes I use the wrong word. Then I end up expressing something different than what I mean to say.
Badria.
I know what you mean. Just last week, my English teacher asked me what I was going to do on the weekend. I said, I'm preparing dinner for several goats tonight. My teacher's eyes widened, and I could tell she was trying to hold back a laugh. Then I realized that I had said goats instead of guests.
Okay, the first mistake that Badriya made is that she said she was preparing dinner for goat. And what did she mean to say? She meant to say that she was preparing dinner for guests. So the mistake is, or occurred with these two words, goat and guests. Now let's listen to Paula and identify the mistakes or the mistake she's done.
Paula.
Oh, we've all had that kind of thing happen. Last year I was studying abroad. During the summer, my mother came out to visit for a few weeks. I was telling a classmate about meeting my mother at the airport, and I said, "My mother gave me a big egg." My classmate looked surprised, and she said, "Is that a traditional gift in your country?" That's when I realized that I had said egg instead of hug.
Okay, now we've listened to the mistake Paula made. What did she say? She said that her mother gave her an egg. And what did she mean to say? She meant to say that her mother gave her a hug. Okay, now let's listen to Tina and try to identify the mistakes that she has made.
Tina.
Sometimes it's not a matter of using the wrong word. Sometimes the word can be right, but the way it's used can be wrong. One time I told a friend, "While I was walking to your house, a big shower suddenly fell on me." My friend said, "Ouch, that must have hurt." I thought about it for a moment and realized my mistake. Of course, I had meant to say, "I got caught in a sudden shower."
Okay, Tina talked about the mistake that she has done or she's made, and that she made a mistake saying the expression and talking about once she was caught in the rain. What did she say? She said that a shower fell on her, or she said a shower fell on me. Okay, but what did she mean to say? She meant to say that she got caught in shower. She got caught in shower. So we have two different expressions that can be used, and each one of them has a different meaning. Okay, the proper and the correct one is the last one. She got caught in a shower. Now let's listen to the last part of the conversation where Amira talked about the mistake she has made while writing the recipe.
Amira.
Sometimes, even a simple thing like spelling something wrong can lead to a disaster. One time, a friend tried a piece of cake I had baked. She loved it, and even though she had never baked anything before, she asked me for the recipe. The following week, she told me she had baked the cake and it was terrible. I looked at the recipe I'd given her and realized that I had written, "Add 2 cups of flour," but instead of spelling flour F-L-O-U-R, I had spelled it F-L-O-W-E-R. And she had actually added flowers.
Okay, Amira made a spelling mistake while she was writing the recipe. So what she wrote is add 2 cups of flour. What she meant to write is add 2 cups of flour. These words are called homophones. What is the meaning of homophones? When 2 words are pronounced or uttered in the same way but are written in different way. They are called homophones. That means we say them in the same way but we write them in different ways. So Amira was struggling with spelling, so she spelled the 2 words differently, and that made the cake taste terrible. Okay, so let's take a quick recap of what we have learned today. We've agreed that the best way to enhance our listening skills is to expose ourselves to the language, listen as much as we can. After that, once we have an exam or we are asked to do an exercise or we practice anything in the class, we should start reading the questions, know what we are asked to do, what should we do. After that, read each part of the exercise, then take notes while we are listening to the recording. After that, focus on understanding the main idea of the material we're listening to, and also try to get the specific information that we are asked to find. This is the last part of our lesson today. Thank you all for attending, and I wish you enjoy the rest of the day. Assalamu alaikum.